Hello, I'm Jay Martens. This is NFTW's News for the Win Monday Report for November 30th, 2009. Well, we start things off with some health news. An Italian doctor, Paolo Zamboni, no relation to the Zambonis between periods at a hockey game, is getting dramatic results with a new type of treatment for multiple sclerosis. So far, it's just an initial study. He took 65 patients and he did just a simple procedure to unblock the blood flow from the brain. Now, it was restricted, he somehow unrestricts it, and now, 2 years later, 3/4 of the people have no symptoms at all. This is good news. MS currently affects 2.5 million people in the world. Now, other health news, you may have already known this, but it's now official. A dirty child is a healthy child. The University of California says that more germs that a child is exposed to earlier in life, the stronger their immunities will be later in life. So, we will take a moment now, and we will salute some healthy children. Yeah. And the president of that little country south of us is one funny guy. While talking in his Educate to Innovate campaign last week, Obama said, "As president, I believe that robotics can inspire young people to pursue science and engineering. And I also want to keep an eye on those robots in case they try anything." That is awesome. He also said, we're going to try to show young people how cool science can be. So, move over, CSI. Here comes the president to make science cool again. Pandemic? That's the word that's been thrown around so many times. First there was the swine flu, then there was the bear flu, and who can forget the beaver flu, or the bat flu? And everybody's getting immunized for all of these flus, but how do they make those vaccines to fight the flus? Well, for the H1N1 vaccine, on a worldwide scale, the recipe calls for some pretty interesting stuff. You start with over 1 billion chicken eggs, a dash of isolated virus strain, mixed vigorously with a standard laboratory virus, and then you pop it into your genetic reassortment machine, and in about 6 to 9 weeks, you get a hybrid virus. Now, you take the hybrid virus strain, you send it to pharmaceutical companies for mass production, and then you inject a small portion of that hybrid virus into each egg. Now, you let that incubate for 2 to 3 days, then you separate out your antigen. Dilute to serve. Now, if you are in Europe, you'll need to do some clinical testing. But if you're not, if you're in the US, well, you can serve them hot out of the oven. I think I'll whip up a batch tonight. And did I mention they're delicious? Immunizations. Art news. 2 fingers cut from the hand of Galileo nearly 300 years ago have been rediscovered. Now, the fingers were purchased recently at an auction. Who's running an auction where you're selling fingers? Honestly. I've got a 300-year-old jar full of fingers. Hello, $5, $5. Do I hear $5? $5, $2. You can always rinse it out and put some pickles in there. $2. $2 sold to the creepy guy in the back who likes to buy body parts in jars. What? Anyways, the 3 fingers were removed from Galileo's hand back in March 1739, along with the last remaining tooth from his lower jaw. Now, 2 of the 3 fingers and the tooth ended up in a sealed jar that disappeared around 1905. The person who bought them in the auction came to the museum recently, start talking about, are these Galileo's fingers or not? The last person to have seen the fingers gave the museum a very detailed description, so they're able to match it up. What made it even more creepy, though, is that the museum had the 3rd Galileo finger, and they've had it since 1927. So now all 3 fingers will be reunited and on display early 2010. Now, apparently removing body parts from corpses was common with saints. It's kind of ironic that the man the church persecuted for saying the sun was the center of the universe should be treated like a saint by his secular followers. And other art news, some designers are trying to make an ecological change in a big way. Hark Lee created a naked cola can, and it was created without using any paints or dyes, and so then it would reduce the production time and the energy spent in the production and recycling phase of aluminum cans. Now, when you do recycle a soda can, you have to actually strip out all of the paints before you can recycle the aluminum. So, if Coke alone were to switch to the new nude can, they would be able to save the production costs on 75.3 billion aluminum cans each year. So that's a lot of soda pop. Wow. And a rather sad tale of a man who was adopted. Now, he sought out his birth father, and his birth father turned out to be Charles Manson. Ooh, the 41-year-old DJ Matthew Roberts set out on a quest to find his biological father, only to discover that it was, in fact, Charles Manson. Ouch. Sometimes it's better just not to know, people. Well, where is the safest place in New York? Why, home playing video games on your Xbox, for certain. Well, New York State will issue emergency alerts via Xbox Live in the event of a natural disaster or a terrorist attack. The state says the idea makes sense considering the amount of time our youth spend on video games. And finally, not since Cabbage Patch Kids has there been such a frenzy. The USB Pet Rock. The perfect gift is the gift of friendship. Stores have been sold out since Black Friday. If you didn't get one, don't worry. The manufacturer released today that there are more shipments slated for earlier December. Contact your local electronics store for details. That is your Monday Report. I'm Jay Martens. Be safe, and I'll see you next week. Yeah, I know, it's USB powered. You just plug it in, and then it does all of the pet rocking things that the normal pet rocks do. Yeah. I named mine Balboa.